Hello and welcome back to Koru Kiwi Arts. Now I hope the volume of this video is a lot clearer than the last one that I did, because it wasn't as good as I thought it would have been, but it wasn't. So I'm sorry about that. So maybe I'll just need to speak louder this time. The reason why is because the camera is so far away from the painting. So I'm trying to get it all in the picture, of course. The painting itself has a piece that's directly in the middle, so I cannot hang it correctly, and so the picture's sort of on a lean, so I've had to tilt my camera to make it look level along the bottom here. Okay, I painted this picture back in 2018 here in Istanbul. It was my first painting. It was done from my imagination. I used the birds. Well, let me rephrase that again. I had reference pictures that I used to paint these birds. I don't use the whole bird, I just use a reference picture to help me figure out what the colours look like and the shape. I know how to paint tuis. I've been painting and drawing tuis for many years. So I use them just as a guideline. But the rest, everything else is from my imagination. Now let me show you what the original painting looked like first. Now, really surprising, isn't it, to how it was till now. As you can see, there's no mountain, the sky is different, the water's different, there's no trees. In fact, I repainted this whole painting, and it wasn't until years later. I had people saying, "It looks great, Darren, but we don't like the water." And so I repainted it again, and it took a long time. So it was completed in 2022, years later. They say if you're going to paint over oils, you've got to wait at least 1 year for the paint to dry. If you paint over existing oil paints that are quite dry, they will crack. So I waited 3 years. So I'm not going to have any worries about my painting cracking. So it was a bit of a challenge, really big challenge, because the existing paint was really rough, meaning it had a texture to it. So I was painting over the existing paint. It was really difficult to do. But in the long run, in the end, it came out really well, and I'm very happy with it. It looks basic from where you're looking from, but when you're up close and seeing the detail and seeing it, it looks really nice. It's nicely balanced, all the spaces are even, so your eye is not drawn to one particular part of the painting. This is how I like to paint things, and this can be achieved by using colour as well. So it's not just using negative spaces in your painting, you can use colour to draw your eye to certain parts of the painting. So this oil painting was really hard. Now I paint with acrylics now for two reasons. A lot safer, as well as they dry quicker, so if I make a mistake I can repaint over the acrylic. But I love oils because it gives you that nice realistic effect, if you want that effect, of course, where acrylics can be quite challenging because they dry quick. You can't get that flow that you need, and you don't want to add too much water in your acrylic, because the molecules in your paint will break down in time, so you've got to keep it at the same consistency. You can add a little bit of water, like maybe 20%, but yeah. I don't seal any of my paintings. The reason why is I've never found a product that I like, especially on acrylic paints, because once you seal the acrylic paint, you cannot take that seal off. it's permanently there, and I don't know of any product out there that won't yellow in time, or what happens when you seal something and then something goes wrong with the painting. How can I fix my acrylic painting if it's already been sealed, so I cannot repair it? So if I don't seal an acrylic painting, if something happens to it, I can just repair it by painting over it again. But there is a product which I've been using on some small pieces, which is called Art Deco something, I don't know, but it's really good. And I put it on a excuse me, on a small piece, and I put it in the sun for weeks, and some of the lighter areas sort of faded away, but the painting never yellowed and it never cracked, so it was really good. So if you ever do paintings and you want to sell them to someone, the best thing to do with a painting, if they're not sealed, is never stick a painting in direct sunlight. Okay? And always keep your painting in a cool part of the house. Don't put it where it's hot, you know. And if you get any dirt on your painting, acrylic or whatever, I mean, acrylics are sealed themselves, and so do oils. Well, they say they don't, but I believe they do. So all you need is a little bit of soapy water and sponge, and just lightly just wipe it down, you know. But if I can find a good product to seal my acrylic paints, then I will definitely use that product, and I'll let you know what I've been using. Now, this part here was a major part, because when I was dabbing on the paint, I wasn't happy, so I was adding more colour on there to try and bring the trees out, give them some depth. And here I didn't change this part because I like the shapes of these trees, these necals and what do you call it? This could be a decal here. This could be a totara or a matai or a kari or whatever, the native trees of New Zealand. But I like the shape. It looked very comical and playful. It looks really, it sort of makes the painting unique. And the kowhais is what the tuis take their nectar out, and then you also take it from flax plants as well. Maybe that's how they pollinate themselves. So originally this painting was red sky because it was all focused on Gallipoli, World War One, and this was New Zealand, and it was all looking towards Gallipoli. So when the troops from World War One sailed to Gallipoli, they said, geez, it looks just like New Zealand, Gallipoli. So that was my interpretation of them sort of going to war. And I changed it. I didn't want to be focused on war or anything, because my paintings are more focused on making you happy. And so I changed it. And so I got rid of the mountain. I just put some hills. And I put rocks through here and trees, and you know, and put a waterfall through here and some plants, and made it look really nice. And I'll show you a close-up of this later on at the end of the video, so you can appreciate my hard work. Let's move to this side of the painting. The clouds, I put a bit of yellow in there to give it some warmth and make it look like there was sunlight going through there. All my clouds, they never look the same. They're always different. I don't have a one way and that's it, you know. They're always different. But I always thought they were the most hardest part to do, clouds. I like sketching them, but painting them I always find the most difficult part of my painting is doing the clouds. And all this detail, the twigs and all these, this is really, it takes a lot of time, but it gives you some detail through here and plants and all that. So it's more of an abstract sort of a painting. And yeah, this was originally painted down in a place called Jangenku, where I was staying with my wife Benna, and so it was repainted again here at the family house. So, and yeah, so I don't have any more to say about the painting, except I'll show you a close-up of this painting now. And if you have any thing to say about this painting, write it in the comments box below. And thank you again for watching, and I'll try and, if I have any more time, I'll do another painting review on one of my other paintings later on. And thank you so much for subscribing to our channel. And if you get a heart from me, that means I've read your comment. It's my way of saying thank you. And I'm going to go now and do some more painting on my newest nature scene in which I'm doing at the moment. So thank you. Catch you guys again later.